All right, man, let's introduce you.
My name's Roji. I'm a junior. I'm from Long Island, New York.
Wait, it's Rogi?
Roji.
Roji? Is it short for something?
That's just my name.
That's your name? Where's it come from?
So my dad's name is Romel, and my mom's name is Gianna. It's like the first two put together.
Dude, give your parents a pound for me. That's cool. All right. We're in Long Island?
I'd say like a little bit of everywhere. I grew up mostly in like Uniondale, Hempstead, and then I moved out to like Wheatley Heights, Dix Hills area.
And how do you identify, by the way?
I'm black.
I'm not like Caribbean American?
I'm Haitian American.
Haitian American? Ah, okay. All right, cool. Wait, what's your last name?
Bourget.
Bourget? All right. Have you ever been to Haiti?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. Where's your family in Haiti? In Port-au-Prince?
My mom is from Maïsad, and then my dad is from Delmas.
Delmas. Okay. Delmas is the first place that not the first place I visited in Haiti, but the first place in Port-au-Prince, by the way. We used to have a project in Haiti, so we used to go down all the time. I've been there maybe like 10 times and stuff, so it's cool. All right, man. So listen, here's what we're going to do. Can you go in the back? And you can take the mic with you. You can just turn it off and go back there and hang for a hot minute. All right, man. Can we have our volunteers? You all can come up and take a seat. This is by the way, today's a really cool class. Like there are classes that we do that I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting, or this is going to be fun. And there are classes that we do that when I wake up in the morning, I say, oh man, I can't wait to go to class. All right, so here, you're going to be getting some shots of them. So, okay, you don't put your name tags on yet, and make sure that he can't see them. All right, and you all are going to share the microphone. You three share this microphone, and you three share that one, and we're not going to introduce you all yet. Okay. All right, man, you're on. Dude, this is... Okay, Rogi, right? Rogi. Oh, man, dude, because Gianna, I got to remember your mom, Gianna, okay. All right, man. So see these 6 lovely humans right here? Imagine you're sitting at a restaurant and they're sitting at a restaurant, okay? And you're trying to figure out, like, who are they and what do they have in common?
At least I would say them right here, I would assume they're white.
Uh-huh. What's it mean to say they're white? Like, what do you mean when you say that, they're white? Hey, by the way, dude, keep in mind, there's no like wrong answers or anything, so it's fine. Like no one's ever asked you to look at a white person and you say, oh, I think they're white, and then they ask you, what do you mean by that? So, right? No one's ever asked you that? Okay, so that's what this is, right? So what do you mean? Wait, which 3?
No, I was like aside from him.
Not him, but the rest of them? Uh-huh. And, oh, I love it. Okay, and what do you mean when you say you assume they're white?
I would say, like, just by looking at them, I would think that they're white.
And what's white? What's it mean to be white? In your mind?
I would say just like...
And hold that close, like by your chin. Like from Europe, you mean?
I would just say American. Like American white people.
American white. Uh-huh. Who's American white, by the way?
Someone who was raised and born in America, and they're white.
Uh-huh. They have ancestry from Europe. And where do you think they're from? Like, look at it. Can you zoom in on his face? So come in. Go ahead. You can zoom a little faster. Just get right on his face, man. Bro, so you might, wait, can you put the slides up? You might, no, not that. I don't want that. I want this camera. Can you put this camera on the slides so he can see it, actually?
You want it on all three?
Yeah. Okay. Can you go up a little bit? I want to see his face. Dude, do you mind if I touch you? We're good? We're all right, man? Okay. All right. Turn to the side. You got it? Turn like that way. Let us see like your nose and stuff. Yeah, because by the way, wait, hang on. You need to know something. So I've spent about 15 years studying faces. Okay, so I said this the other class, but you really need to know this. This biogeographical ancestry testing, this class was the first big place where people tested their ancestry to see what part of the world their ancestors were from, and then we talked about it in class. Every single student in 119 got the opportunity to have their ancestry measured, okay? And we call it biogeographical because it's biological, meaning that all of these faces are different, bodies are different. It's geographical because they're different based on where people's ancestors were in the world. And so when I'm like asking him, hey, turn to the side, we want to see your nose, because there's something about noses that tell us things about who people are. So anyway, come here. You don't have to zoom out, just go right. Yep, zoom in a little bit closer. So look at her. You might want to look up there. You'll get a better vision. All right? Can you turn to the side, by the way? Look at can you zoom in on her nose? Yeah. Are you cool with that? You're cool, right? It's your nose, man. Yeah. Okay? All right, here we go. Next one. And man, look at her cheeks, right? Like you want to see like what features she has. Here, look at her. Hang on. Are you cool?
Yeah.
We're good?
Yeah.
Look at her cheeks right here. Like look at her cheeks compared to her cheeks. Okay, bro? Yeah, you want to look at these things because they're clues as to who people are. All right? Can you turn to the left a little bit? Look, can you zoom in on her nose? Turn a little more so you're right. Zoom in. Check her nose out. See, see the little ridge right there? Okay? That's a clue. All right? That's a clue. All right, thanks, man. All right, look at this guy right here. Look at him. Look up here in look at his eyes up here. And look at his cheeks, look at his mouth, look at the shape of his head. Look at all these things, okay? We got it? Because these are, what I'm pointing out to you are things, remember the story I told. If you take me to Europe and you don't tell me where I'm going to be in Europe, and you let me off the airplane and I go to the center of a place, the city, let's say, not at the airport because that's different, I can tell you with pretty good accuracy where I'm at. And I might miss a country here or there. I might say I'm in Austria and I'm really in Germany, but I can tell you with pretty good accuracy where I'm at because I look at his face, I look at her face, I look at these faces, and when I go to the place where he's from, there are a lot of people that look a heck of a lot more like him than look like her. Okay? So, all right, man. So let's go. So we got him. Okay, bro, zoom in to this young gentleman right here. Okay, look at him. Turn to the side a little bit. Yeah, either way, that's good. Yeah, look at him. All right? And then, okay, now look at her. Look at different, right? Look at right here. Look at her brow bone. And look at the bridge of her nose compared to the bridge of his nose and the bridge of his nose. And then zoom in on her really close. Zoom in right here. Yeah, right there. Zoom in. Can you go further? Oh, you're maxed? All right, man. Okay, good. Oh, man. Awesome. All right, bro. Tell me something about them. Where do you think they're from?
I'd say I'm pretty bad when it comes to figuring out countries and everything, but I can tell that they have distinct features about themselves when you like really broke it down like that.
Like what do you notice besides things that I said? Like what are you seeing? What else do you see?
I'd say like their hairstyles, like their hair type kind of looks the same to me. But their ears.
Their ears? Yeah.
Like I
Let me
don't
see.
I don't want to put no one on the spot.
No,
but,
no,
like,
you're
I
not
see,
putting
like,
anyone on the spot, bro. Dude, the ears, by the way, you want to know something? The ears are like a fingerprint to human beings. That almost no two people have the same ears. It's just that we can't measure like we do with a fingerprint. So when you look at people's ears, man, they're really, really different. How would you just label them if you had to label them? You're saying this guy, he's like, who's different? Who stands out for you?
I say he would stand out the most.
He stands out the most. What about him that stands out? Because
I think he looks like pretty foreign. I'd say based off what he's wearing.
yeah, he's looking based on what he's wearing. But how
Yeah.
about his face, man? Look at his face right here.
I'd say like his hairstyle too. Like I've kind of seen people, I'd say that look like him in a way.
That look like him in some way, and he's not. So it's a little bit different. Well, how about that guy right there? The guy on the right, with the hoodie.
I'd say
Hold that close.
his hair is kind of like, it's making me like, I don't know what he is. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit.
But just his hair.
Facial hair too, I'd say maybe.
Dude, hang on a second. Here, come here. Look at these two guys. Can you zoom in pretty close? Can you guys get close together? Put your heads kind of close together with my head, okay? Look at our faces. They're really different, man. Right? What's different about them?
Skin complexion, your age, obviously.
Yeah, all right. What else? Dude, you're not looking closely, man. Look closely. Come over here. Come close. Dude, look at us right here. Don't get in front of the camera though. Kind of stay a little bit. Come closer, like right here. Look at our faces. What do you see?
The noses are different.
Okay.
I would say yours is a bit more narrow. His is a little more wide. His is kind of like, I'd say in the middle.
But we're all white people.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, but not that guy down there.
I mean, he could be.
But there's something about him.
Yeah, like I said, specifically like how he's dressed, I would say.
Yeah, don't go with dress though. Yeah. Something about him. Okay, all right, listen, let's have you all introduce yourselves, all right? Let's go.
My name is Akko, Georgia.
You know where Georgia, not the state of Georgia, man. Georgia, the country. Yeah? Well, let me help you out a little bit here. You ever call white people Caucasians?
Yeah.
You hear people calling people Caucasians?
I mean, I guess, yeah. Here and there.
Yeah? All right. Well, let me tell you something. Do you guys use the word Caucasians ever? Do you know anything about Akko right here? Anyone know anything about Akko and Caucasians? Do you know where I'm going? Do you know where I'm going, bro? Where am I going? Yeah. Listen, this is the guy. When you think about white people, the term Caucasians, it came from his people, Mount Caucasus. It came from where he lives. This guy is the whitest guy in the class. All right? He is Mr. White. So it's so interesting that you're like, yeah, they're all white except that guy. And I'm thinking, he's the whitest dude in the class, man. The guy that came up with the word Caucasian, he named it after the people in his area of the world because he thought they were the most beautiful example of white people that he knew, that he saw anywhere in the world. Right here, bro. That's you. This guy, Mr. Handsome. All right? So there you go. We're going to call you Mr. White from here on out. You can put the name tag on. All right. Yeah, no, don't put the name tag. Oh, yeah, you can. Go ahead. Yep.
My name's Sophia.
Oh, wait.
He turned it off. My name's Sophia. I grew up outside of Philly, but I was born in Canada.
And you're Canadian.
Yes.
So she's Canadian. Okay? All right. Wait, what's your ancestry?
I have no idea.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
Okay.
I'm Veronica. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I am American born, but I do have citizenship to Czech Republic because my mom is from there and my dad is from Ukraine.
Any Czechs here? Like, or Ukrainians here? Like I see your face, and anybody see that with her? Like, it's so clear to me. And I lived in Prague, actually. So, not that says anything, but all right, bro.
My name's Elliot, and I'm from Leicester in the UK.
Mm-hmm. And even if you don't believe him, you just listen to how he speaks. And how far back does your family go?
My dad's side of the family is Hungarian, and my mum's side of the family is English. So.
Yeah, dude. You see the Hungarian side in you, right? It's your dad's side.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see that? You look like your dad.
Yeah.
It's like it's up here, and you're like, okay, all right. You're good. Yeah.
My name's Adrian. I come from Sydney, Australia.
Oh, yeah. Australia.
Yeah.
Might. You have to say might.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah, all right. And wait, but your ancestry, what's your ancestry?
My dad comes from a little island called Malta, and my mum is Vietnamese.
So bro, he's like the guy, that's where his nose comes from. Comes from his mom, right? So it's interesting to me that you didn't pick out his nose, because his nose doesn't look very different than your nose, right? It doesn't look like my nose. I have like a long pointed nose. In fact, I just found out somebody who used to work for me said, I don't trust white men with pointed noses. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What's that? All right. So, okay. So you're Australian. Mm-hmm.
My name is Olivia. I'm from New Jersey, but originally I'm from Poland.
You're from Poland. And what did I say to you?
You said that my nose looks Polish, so you can tell I'm Polish.
You have a Polish nose. Does everyone in your family have? Do you know what a Polish nose is?
Yeah.
You also have a Polish smile, by the way, and Polish eyes. Like, it's cool. But for me, it's that little bit of a, what's a Polish nose from your perspective?
I guess it's kind of a little bit like, it's like kind of thinner.
It's thinner, and then
there's like a little bump.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
Exactly, man. The Polish bump, right? It's so cool. And the thing is, if you go to Poland, like if you look at her nose and her nose, right? And her nose are totally different. But if you go to Poland, you see people, because my wife, do you remember my wife from last week? Or whenever it was? She's Polish. She's half Polish and Irish. We're both people that have that little a similar nose, but anyway. Okay, so the reason that you all are here is because they don't just have ancestors, but they all travel to the motherland. Okay, so we're going to have some conversations about whiteness based on that. All right. So here, do you have any questions for them? Just at the start.
I'd say no questions right now, but like hearing all you speak, like I would say, especially you did catch me off guard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I didn't pick up that that he's half Vietnamese, but he's Australian. So okay, so listen, man. When you guys, when the six of you see you're sitting up here, okay? Forget about the fact that you're Penn State students. I want you to go into your culture. To what degree do you feel like you belong to the same group? To what degree do you feel like we can just label you and put you in the same group? Now that you know about where you're from and your background and so on, do you feel like you're a team? Like the white team, if we call you the white team, or to what degree do you feel that? Anybody? Whoever wants to go. You're just riffing, by the way. There's no answers, so just. By the way, this is a good question, right? Because we joke around. We look at all the white people here, and we'll just be like, oh yeah, all the white people. Okay, well, here are all the white people. Okay, and all right, go ahead, bro.
I think it's alright, like being labelled. Whoa. Being called white, and being with other white people, it seems accurate. Like, yeah, I mean, I feel like we're all white.
Yeah, what's that mean?
Oh, it means like we all come like loosely from Europe. I guess white's a broad term, but it kind of encompasses most of Europe.
Loosely from Europe.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
All right, somebody else. All right, someone else. What else do you feel like you're on the same team? Anybody who wants to go? You want to go? Do y'all feel like you're on? By the way, it's okay. It's like you can't say anything wrong. So like you don't, you know what I mean? So don't. Do you feel like? What do you think? Bro, how about you? Do you feel like you're like on the white team? When you look at all these people, do you feel like all of you are on the same team, or do you notice identified differences? In a way, sure.
Yeah, like in a way.
Yeah, how so? What way?
I never considered to be on a white team before.
Okay, all right. So what do you feel like you have in common with all of them?
We all study here.
Okay, what else? Forget about that. Forget you're not studying here. Forget that you're Georgian. She's Canadian. She is part Czech. Part Czech, just Czech or
Czech and Ukrainian.
And Ukrainian. Oh man, are you kidding? This guy's from the UK. He's Australian. He's Maltese and Filipino. Oh, Vietnamese. Yeah. Same thing. Isn't it the same place? Philippines, Vietnam? Whatever. All right. So, and she's Polish.
Well, we grew up in different cultures.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not trying to get a specific answer. I'm just curious. Because, like, I don't know. How about somebody, Veronica, do you have a thought?
I was going to say that I think to a certain extent, yes, but I still think we share different cultures, especially maybe like the Brits, but I think like even like also like a different culture.
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? Like really? Like to you, for example?
Like I can give an example. Like
Please
for
do.
Christmases, I would celebrate Christmas Eves. I would open up my presents after dinner, and I would stay up till midnight. And then on midnight, we would have a huge dinner, and then I would open up presents. Like it wasn't after we woke up, like running down the stairs, presents at the tree. It was at night.
So, okay, that's a good example, actually. Do you know anything about Haiti?
Not that much.
Do you know anything about the Dominican? Let me ask you, do you feel like you as a Haitian American are basically the same as she's Dominican American, okay? You're from the same island, basically. You guys the same?
I would say to an extent, but like our countries, like, we're kind of known for having some issues with each other.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like, I would say bad blood to an extent.
Okay, but really, so you're not the same. You speak different languages, right? You guys don't speak Spanish in Haiti. Okay. Okay. So how about somebody, Elliot? How about you, man? When you like think about these other folks up here, like here you are, do you see like yourself as kind of part of the white team or what team? What?
I'd say it depends. Like, I definitely feel different to like the average American or the way I associate myself. I definitely have a lot of Eastern European heritage that I kind of link back to, and obviously being from the UK, it's definitely a big culture shock coming over here. Kind of the way people assert themselves, the way people act, like a lot different, but still white.
How about the way white people act over here? You mean everybody?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'd say it's different. Like, I think it's just where you come from, and like where you grow up. Like even from Leicester, I have like different cultures to someone say from Manchester or London. Like, because there's not a big travel time. It's just like where you grew up, where you come from, what social class you're associated with. Like,
so let me, Sophia, are you guys on the same team here? You guys?
I'd say so.
What do you have in common? Like, what do you have in common, really, with this guy? Yeah, well, yeah, that's not much to go on, actually. What else? See, this is the question, right?
Yeah.
The assumption is these two people have a lot in common. Okay? They all six have a lot in common. So, what do you have in common with Elliot?
Both speak the same language.
Kind of. You don't speak the Queen's English, though.
I mean, I don't speak with an accent, no.
Okay. You know, you do speak with an accent, right?
A
She
different
speaks with an
accent.
American accent. Can you speak with an American accent?
occasionally. When I've had a few too many
say
beers.
it right. Tell us right now. Do an American accent right now.
White Claw.
I'll take a beer. All right. I don't. Okay, wait. So what else do you share?
I'd say, obviously, Canada was part of, like, the United Kingdom colonies at one point, so I'd say I share more with her if she's Canadian than I would a typical American.
Okay, but here's the typical American, right? He's Haitian American, but he's typical American, okay? He's no more foreign than you. You're Georgian American, right? He's Haitian American. So here, can I get a hang on. Can you come sit right here? Can you just hop up really fast? And can you move down? And you sit right there. Oh wait. Oh no. Hang on. Sorry. Can you hop up? You sit down. All right, so listen, bro. Back up. I want you to see these two right here. Right here. Do they look? No, Elliot, right here. Come here. These two. Sorry.
Oh, my bad.
How? It seems to me, who has more in common? Does she have more in common? Do you have more in common with her, or do you have more in common with, or does she have more in common with you, or does she have more in common with him?
As Americans, I'd say probably more in common with each other than with me.
Yeah. So it's interesting, though. You're like saying, yeah, we're all white. We're all similar, but these two, you guys share a lot, man. And like compared to you, so being white, so like, let me ask you, how about you? Who's more similar? Sophia and, dude. These two?
Yeah, I would say those.
Or these two?
I think currently those two, but Ancestry.
Yeah, but what matters most in the world?
I think
The culture?
yes.
More
Current
than
and
Ancestry?
like the way you were brought up.
Yeah, like these two people are far more like each other than either of them are like you. Or like you, bro, the Australian mite, right? So what's it mean, though, that we have to get there, you know what I mean? How is that, like, to see that? Let me just ask that. I don't know. I don't even have a question. It's just an observation.
I'd have to think about that.
So think about it. You got the black guy here and the white woman from Canada, okay, who's Canadian in her ancestry, and you got the original Brit right there, man. This is the original American till we kicked you all out, right, or converted you, or whatever the case is, right? And we're saying suddenly these two have more in common than the two white people.
I think because geographically currently, yeah.
Well, it's
the
just,
Canadian American versus UK.
Yeah, but these two are both Americans. Like, they get what it is to be an American. And far more than this guy, or more than this guy, all the subtle ways. Like, you guys understand how it is to be American. All right, bro, here, you come up here. All right, have a seat real fast. How is that for you? See this blonde woman right here? Canadian American? That you're actually more like her than she is like that white guy over there? How is that for you?
I would say I don't agree with that.
Well, how are you more like, what's different though? It's good in terms of culture, in terms of...
I would say culture, and then if you just kind of were to walk up to the three of us, you would be like, who has the most in common? You're probably going to assume them two, and not me and her. Listen,
Elliot and Adrian, if this guy shows up in your culture with you, how much is he gonna fit in? Let's say that he and Akko show up in your culture. How much is one of them gonna fit in more than the other?
Mate, it's gonna stick out like a sore thumb. That's what I think.
This guy is.
Yeah.
How about this guy?
He'd blend in, but like after a while, like people would be like, "Oh, he speaks kind of funny and got weird mannerisms and whatnot."
And how's this guy gonna stick out? Just because of what he looks like?
Initially, yeah.
But how about his ability to blend in with customs in Australia?
Oh, it's pretty different. Like I think Americans in general kind of have like characteristics that make them stick out in a place like Australia, I think.
So the fact that Olivia here is white, right? Does she have any advantages to fitting in? Does she know more about Australian culture?
Not at all, no.
So is she going to have any advantages to fitting in, not knowing the same amount as he knows?
I'd say no. Yeah, I would say no.
How about Elliot here?
I'd say Elliot probably has a fairer chance in Australia.
He might have a little bit better.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah. Of really kind of fitting in. Huh. It's just interesting the way that we... Okay, I want to ask you guys, do you have any other questions, by the way? Because I got to... All right. How do you guys... Ask that question right there, man. That's a really good question.
How do people talk about white Americans?
In Poland.
Okay. In Poland, white Americans are seen as lazy, like very lazy. Like they don't like clean their own houses properly. Like they're just really talked down on, and that my mom often sees people walking to like the high school near our house in pajama pants.
Yeah.
So she just kind of finds that like crazy.
How about like, is this okay?
That's fine, yeah.
All right.
But just like the like red and like black like printed pajama pants, like she would never let me out of the house like that, not even to like the grocery store around the corner. So
they think so they talk about white Americans as lazy and not clean.
Yeah.
And you like to clean?
Well, my mom is very big on cleaning the house every day and every Sunday. It's like a huge thing in our house that like even if there's like one speck of dust on like the desk, it's like seen as dirty. This
is a Polish thing, man. You know, if you like clean, you want to find yourself a Polish woman or a Polish man, whatever the case, it doesn't matter. Marry him. Trust me, it's worth it. Yeah. One speck of dust. Okay. How about you? How do people talk about white Americans?
I'd say loud or obnoxious. Like whenever like Sydney, it's a pretty big tourist destination. So whenever you're kind of out and about, you can really tell when there's an American around. Because it's louder than everybody else and usually complaining about what their food is, and they're just like generally like much louder. That's what I think.
And so Olivia, you were shaking your head. Is that a similar thing? Loud? Poles?
Yeah, and like if an American goes to Poland to like just visit as like a tourist, you can pretty much tell who's American because of like their mannerisms
Yeah.
or also just like if you've ever been in like a queue line and like the American is kind of like known to kind of like lean over like or just kind of like I don't know how to explain it. I don't know, just kind of like lean over, like pop their hip a little bit while they're like standing.
Insert themselves.
Yeah.
Assert themselves.
Yeah. And Polish people are just kind of like, I don't know, they don't really like to be noticed. It's just like go in, get your stuff, that's it.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, you got that? By the way, Haitians are also known to be clean freaks, right? So you got a lot in common with so you could be with a Haitian, you'd be all right. You know, but Poles you're off the chart. How about you? How do they talk about white Americans?
Not in a good way. Yeah, definitely like there's the stereotypes that everyone's obviously very fat, everyone's very rude. But I find it myself, like especially like in the culture of Americans, I find me and like other English guys I know over here are very polite, very shy, or like the way they go around, like I walk through a bar and I go, sorry, excuse me, really sorry, can I get past? Whereas Americans will just blow right past me and it's like I wasn't even there. So I definitely find it like, yeah.
Do people talk about white Americans differently than they talk about, say, like black Americans? Or are they mostly all the same?
Pretty much it's just American, there's no, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
So you got, when you go to the UK, you got to deal with all the stereotypes that Americans create over there. You know what I mean? Tell them you're Haitian. You'll be all right. How about Haitians? They'd be all right?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. All right. They'd be seen differently than Americans?
Yeah, it's as soon as they start speaking, it's like, oh, they're American. So.
Okay, I got you. Veronica, how about you? Like, how are Americans talked about?
They're definitely like talked down upon. Like they're not very like
white Americans?
Yeah. Like,
dude, white people. We thought we were on top of the world, man. It turns out we're lazy, we're dumb, we're fat, we're ignorant, we're like all these things. Oh my God, dude. See that? It's good to be black, isn't it? All right, go ahead.
It's just like all this, like the stereotypes that you just listed, like they're always saying those. And like, even because I'm the only like American born in my family and like all of my family is in Europe, like grandparents, cousins, everyone. And like, I can tell like they even make like, I have an accent when I speak in Czech, like I have an American accent.
Yeah.
And like, they're always like, oh, Veronica, you just said that word really funny. And I'm like, guys, I'm just trying to speak like a language.
Right.
Just let me be.
Right. Just let it go. You want to know a funny story I had in Czech Republic? I didn't have it in Poland because I don't think you do it in Poland. But when you line up, Brooke, so come here, I want to show you something. So imagine that we're going to buy, right here, we're going to buy something. He's the shopkeeper, right? And like I would come, you're buying something, right? And I come and I stand behind you, right? So here, can you hop up? And so this guy comes and he stands next to you. Here, stand right here. And I'm behind you. And then you buy your goods, and then, okay, you leave, and then he slides over. And we were like, dude, what the fuck? Are we invisible? And then the next thing, then I'm standing there going, okay, well, I'll be next, you know? And then he buys his things, and he leaves, and then she slides over. And our thing was like, God, these Czechs are so rude, man. They're so rude. And finally, this old woman with a babushka, she's coming. We're standing there. She comes up. Here, come back here. She grabs me by the shoulder, and she takes me over here. And she says, she told me in Czech, stand here. And then I got it. That was after about a month. Right? Thanks, man. It was kind of slow, but that was one thing about like rudeness that I had this idea.
I don't know about that, but
No, it's not rude though. That's how you line up there. And we were
Yeah.
just like not doing it correctly.
Yeah, I love to like go to like foreign supermarkets for some reason. Like I just love, it's like a like you can see the different culture in just like the food.
Totally.
And so every time like I'm like going to my grandparents' place in the summer, like I always go to the supermarket with them, even if it's like at 8 in the morning. Like I'll
Yeah.
still wake up early and
It's
go.
fun.
And one thing that I always like find really nice that I feel like in American stores they don't do as much. I think in Europe you're like constantly saying like good morning, how are you when someone walks in, and like at the cashier you have to say it. And like even around like in the village, because my grandparents live in a village of like 200 people, everyone knows each other. And when I was younger, like I didn't know the people, and I'm also from Brooklyn, so I'm not like used to saying hi to everyone.
Yeah.
But as you like get older, like I realized like everyone says hi to each other, even if you don't know the person.
Yeah.
You still say hi, good morning, like how are you. If you're just like walking the dog and like someone else is
Yeah.
walking a dog, you always say hi, even if you don't know them. Like we have like other tourists coming to our village because there's like a little castle in there, and so other tourists from like Czech, they come like 2 hours, and then they come like for the tour of the castle,
And you just engage.
and they're still saying like hello, how are you to me. And I just found that like interesting. I feel like in America it's not as much
It's
like
in some
that.
places it is, but definitely not
more in the South,
in
but
the
not,
city.
like,
Yeah. Ahoy, ahoy is how you
Ahoy,
say
yeah.
ahoy. You ever hear that term, ahoy?
That's the informal version.
Of hello. Remember that. Okay, listen, Sophia. How about in Canada? How are they talking about white Americans?
They think they're dirty, mean.
Does that have
aggressive.
anything to do with our current?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
They like always talk about like politics in the U.S.
Yeah, okay. So dirty, mean.
Yeah, lazy.
So add that, white people. Add that to the list. You're also mean.
Yeah, it's like everyone
Isn't it
there
good
is so
you're not
nice.
white? Yeah. What's that?
Everyone there is so nice, and they like will go up there, and it's like a culture shock almost. Like,
So how much are they just putting in the United States all Americans together in one group?
I mean,
Like-
they do like they just generalize Americans. It's just like
Just Americans?
Yeah.
So it's not like we're going to be any different. Like
No.
I don't get a pass because I'm white. It's
No.
like I don't get, okay. So see that, dude? You can feel good about yourself. Huh. All right. Akko. How about you, man? How do people?
Not bad at all.
It's not bad?
Not bad at all. Because like in Georgia we're really known
Hold it tight.
In Georgia we're really known for our hospitality.
Yeah.
So like if we
And
have
your food, by the way.
yeah,
But
yeah. So if we have like if we have someone from a different country come,
Hold it close.
especially America, like America's looked at somewhere you go if you want to make it out. So like if we have someone from America coming, like you can expect getting free food, free drinks from a lot of people.
Dude, hear that? And what about, let me ask you this. How about do you make distinctions between different Americans? Or is an American an American?
Like an American is an American, but like I would say older people, like in their 70s and 80s, who were part of the Soviet Union, they have more of like there's more like racism like between them, but like the younger generation, like my
Way
age,
more racism against who?
like African Americans.
So like,
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Would they make a distinction, the fact that he's Haitian? That wouldn't matter to them?
They might.
No, they wouldn't know where Haiti is, probably.
Exactly, but
Um,
like the younger generation though, it's like if you're an American, you're an American, and you're welcome.
yeah?
Yeah.
And so, it's cool? Like if he showed up as this American guy, like, it'd be like, if he showed up at a bar in Tbilisi,
Yeah, yeah.
right, in Georgia, if he shows up at a bar, it'd be like, dude, you're American. People would buy him a drink.
100%.
Yeah?
100%.
Guys, what's wrong? That's because you lost the war 250 years ago, man. You're still holding that shit against us. You know what I mean? Huh. Wow. Do you have any questions now?
I would say, do you guys agree with like how it's talked about? Like when you see white Americans, do you think the same thing that's been taught in your cultures?
When I first came over here, I was like expecting it to be like that, but the more time I've spent over here, like I think they're a lot more exaggerated than I was first taught to like view Americans. Like I've spent I can't fly home for Thanksgiving, or I spend a week for spring break. I've had Americans that I know invite me back for a week, like lovely people. So it's definitely a stereotype and not something that's accurate, or what I've found that's accurate in my 4 years here. So
That's a good question, by the way. What do you think about, what have you learned about white people, white Americans, by being in the U.S. that people back home don't understand? What do you know about white Americans that people back where you're from don't understand?
I think a lot of white Americans kind of really dislike kind of being grouped in with other white Americans. That's what I've kind of noticed.
Uh-huh.
Like a lot of white Americans are pretty critical about the way that other white Americans act.
So like social class for them is or something like that? Or?
Yeah, something like that. Like, I mean, there's definitely a lot of like caricatures about your patriotic redneck American, but like, as there are some of those people, like I'm sure most of the people here wouldn't really want to be identified in the same kind of group as them.
So let me ask you this then, to what degree do you see, I'm going to try to get this question, so see what you got here. To what degree do you see certain stereotype? To what degree do you look at white people in the United States and see differences versus put them all in one group?
I think, well, I do think Americans are loud and obnoxious. Like, I don't think that's a bad thing though. And I think where I come from, I think we're a bit more loud and obnoxious than we want to admit. I think same with like being a patriot. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I look around and I probably see a lot of people who have very conflicting views with each other, and all kind of raised in a different part of America, which probably defines them more than if they're white or not.
Yeah. So you've like learned that.
Yeah, I'd say like calling an American from Texas and an American from New York City, like, it's like they're from different countries almost.
Okay. All right. Do you have another one, by the way?
Nah, I don't.
So when we're in this class, when we talk about, hey, the people who are white, let me talk to the people who are white in here. Does that strike you as kind of odd? Or to what degree does it strike you as odd? Hey, let me talk to the white people for a second. Because what I'm hearing is you don't.
Like, here, I think people like to group people like white, brown, Asian, black.
Yeah.
So, like, that's kind of just like an easy way that people want to kind of categorize everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, where I come from, I'm definitely seen as ethnic, and like, it's a bit of a differentiation for me anyway, from being white there. But here, I've kind of just accepted that it's just easier for people to call me white, and
Just to do that.
yeah, it doesn't hurt me.
Olivia, back in Poland, do people talk about white? Do people refer themselves as, how do people call themselves? People who look like you and I. What do they?
I'd say like Slavic,
Okay.
not white.
Not white? People don't use white a lot?
What they do, they're like, oh, look at that like white person that's on the street, or like look at that like if there's a lot of people, black people that visit Poland, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, look at that black person on the street. Like, typically they say like white people, but to themselves they refer as like Slavic.
So do people see themselves as a group? Because like in the United States, white people we see ourselves as a group, as a sociological category. Do Polish white people do that?
Yeah, there's not many differences between like every single Polish white person. I'd say like we're pretty similar in like the religious aspect, and like we all kind of look alike. So I would say that they group themselves as just like Slavic people all together, like white people all together, but like it would be different if like let's say like a Ukrainian person came into the picture. They'd still call the Ukrainian person white or Slavic, but it would just be a different type of Slavic, or like a different type of white.
Okay. Hey Veronica, do white people in Czech Republic, for example, or Ukraine, is there a sense among other people that white people there think they're superior?
I think to a certain extent, yes, because I feel like in Czech, I can speak more about Czech than I can about Ukraine.
All right.
So in Czech, like they're just gonna say, "Oh, I'm Czech," like it doesn't matter because like ethnically, like it's primarily white. So that's what like in their minds, that's how they view it, and so they're just gonna say, "Oh, I'm Czech." Like they're not gonna be like, "Oh, I'm white." But they just say I'm Czech instead.
Okay, I got you. So like the use of white as like that kind of racial category is not.
Yeah.
It's not ever present.
No, they're more like national than like.
Do people talk about how Americans do that?
No, not really.
Elliot, do Brits talk about how Americans do that? Wait, Brits, is that all right? Can I call you Brit? Yeah. Do Brits talk about how Americans like are labeling? We're always labeling ourselves.
I wouldn't say they talk about Americans because they don't really realize. A lot of them haven't been. It's so far away. But I think there's definitely a difference between Americans calling themselves black, white, Hispanic, Asian. Whereas in the UK, you kind of define yourself as where you're from. Like someone's Scouse, or someone's Geordie, or someone's Brummie, or someone's a Londoner. Like, regardless of color, like you more go off because football teams are such a big part of where you're from. So it's definitely different. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Do we have a question from the stream? Let's see what we got. Does anybody have a question out here? Anybody want to ask a question, bro? Dude. All right. Hang on. Let's pull the stream up. Go ahead. Actually, you ask your question.
Yeah, so I feel like from what you guys are saying, it sounds like Europe is more xenophobic than it is racist, as in like people are more, they just don't like people that aren't from their country. And I was wondering if you guys think that's attributed to the fact that there's more countries like around them, and whereas the US, there's everyone's like in the same country, but they still want to find ways to divide each other. So they go by race, whereas in Europe, there's so many more countries, so people, and since, there's not as many races in their country, it's easier to divide yourself by people who aren't from your country.
Does that make sense to anyone? Does it? Yeah, it's an interesting question, right? Dude, so Joe asks, race is a social construct, right? Race, this idea that we can group people together on the basis of our physical characteristics. Where's black and end and white begin? That we don't know. And why not stop talking about race? How much, let me ask you this question, in Georgia, do you guys talk about race a lot in Georgia? You don't talk about it? Just ethnicity, really? So wait, hang on. So this is the birthplace of white people. Not really, but you guys really you're not talking about race. Here. Just ethnicity and nationality?
Yeah. Because it's really like only white people. Like I grew up around only like white people.
Yeah, only white. How do you distinguish? Do you see physical differences in people and then make distinctions as to like what part of Georgia they're from and so on?
I mean, yeah, but like it's so small, like the country. Like,
yeah,
you know a lot of people already.
So there aren't a lot of I mean, I think myself of Georgians who I know, they have very similar features. All right, do we have another? Hey, Joe, by the way, Stephen from England. All right, dude, one of your peeps. Says, question for Eric from a fellow East, dude, Elliot, it is, not Eric, from a city with a very diverse culture in the UK. Do you feel you stand out less white in America than you do in, how do you say, Leicester?
Leicester, yeah.
Leicester.
Or Leicester for Americans, yeah.
Yeah, for American,
yeah.
Dude. You want to be cool, say Leicester. Memorize that. Don't say Leicester. Yeah, that's a good question for you.
Yeah, Leicester's known for being one of the most diverse cities in England or even the world. I grew up with guys who were Hindi, Sikh, Muslim, my mum's Protestant, my dad's Catholic, South Asians, Eastern Asians, like everywhere. So Leicester is kind of a combination of all those. So I don't know. Depends where you go. I feel like there's any city, depends where you go in Leicester. There's a place called the Golden Mile, which is some of the best curry you'll ever eat. But that's a lot of South Asians kind of populate there. So I definitely feel I stand out going to that part of Leicester. Whereas where I'm from, which is kind of southern Leicester, which is a lot more farms and countryside.
So here at Penn State, do you think about yourself as being white more or less than you do back home?
No, I think it's pretty similar. Just, yeah.
Do you think about yourself? How do you think about yourself in terms of being black? Compared to back home in Long Island?
I mean, Long Island specifically, I would say I do think about it because the area I live now, it's predominantly white. And then here, it's like really predominantly white. Like when I see black people, it's like I'm not seeing that often. I'm seeing way more white people than black people.
Where do you feel like you're more yourself as a Haitian guy?
I would say definitely at home, like in my house, because it's pretty much like no one speaks English there. Like most of the time I'm speaking Creole. I'm eating Haitian food, which is pretty much what I ate most of the time growing up. Like I didn't really eat American food or anything like that.
So let me ask you this question. Like now, after we've had this conversation, you talk about like white people back home. When you think about white people back home, I want you to think about like these the white people back home are just like these white people here. They're very different. They're not just white people, you know? How is that? Like when I say that to you, like does that, like, is there any rewiring that happens for you?
I mean, I'd say I definitely kind of analyze more when I see a white person, because I'd say mostly when I see like a white person, I literally just think it's just like a white person. Like I don't really look into depth, considering if I see a black person, I'll think, where are they from? What's their background?
Yeah, so like think about the class that we did a couple weeks ago with Team Black as opposed to Team White, and think about those many differences with black students who were up here. That's like that. This is just as significant in that way. Do we have another question? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I guess for everyone up here that isn't from America, do you wish there were more areas of representation for your culture, like Poland or English, Australian?
I think I mean I've been here. This is my 4th year here, and like yeah, I don't think I'm here to meet other Australians. Like I've kind of been. I lived there my whole life. Like well, I go back during the breaks. It's kind of nice coming back and being around Americans after being around Australians, and kind of vice versa. Like you kind of get the best of both worlds, and I feel like if I were to like stay in like some Australian bubble where we just talk about like the footy and whatever, it's probably not like. It's probably like, what's the point of being here? That's kind of the way I see it.
So there's somebody else in class who's from Australia. Wait, who's from Australia? There's two of you here. Wait, am I missing? Or who's Australian? Maybe not from Australia, but Australian. Hey, can you, bro? That's you, right? All right, we'll have you up at some point. Can you answer this question from Layla? Because you went you're like really Polish, man. Even in the U.S. Like, check out like her story, Olivia's story.
So I would say no. I say that there's enough representation of Polish people, especially in like the town that I grew up in, my hometown. So I'm from Linden, New Jersey, and it's like right next to like Newark Airport, around that area. I would say there is a Polish store on probably every single corner of that town. I'd say like there's like 8 or 9 in the whole entire town, and it's a pretty small town. I went to a Polish CCD for like 8 years of my life. Polish lectures, like Polish school. All of my Polish friends around me like went to Polish school also, and they got like their like seal of biliteracy in Polish. So like I would say I feel like there is enough representation here, mainly just because I grew up in a very Polish populated hometown.
Hey, Canadians don't have that here, do they? Like there aren't neighborhoods where Canadians hang out and live and stuff. You don't have it either with Georgian. Where's the largest population of Georgians in the U.S.? Do you know?
New York.
In New York? Like in Queens?
Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn? So you guys hang out together? Like, are there stores and restaurants and things?
Yeah, there's a lot of restaurants.
Would I know them if I'm walking down the street? I would know.
Yeah, they would have like Georgian flags on it and everything.
Dude, I got to tell you. So Lori and I, we were in St. Petersburg, Russia. And like, no offense to the Russians, but the best food in St. Petersburg were at Georgian restaurants. Yeah, really amazing, man. Really, but yeah, we kept going back to these Georgian restaurants that we would find. Do you have another question from the stream? From New York City says, should one identify with the country they're born in or from where their ancestors are from? Let me ask you guys, like, how do you, Sophia, how about for you? Like, do you feel like, to what degree do you really like to identify as Canadian, for example?
Well, I usually like tell people I'm from here, but then like if it comes up, I'll be like, well, I'm Canadian. But like, I don't like I would never say I'm like American or like I do like use Canadian more.
Because?
Because I'm not American.
Okay, all right, cool. Does it feel like it just separates you also? It's just like, okay.
Not really. Like I feel like because the countries are so close just in like directionally, like I don't feel as separate.
Yeah. Where's your family from in Canada?
They're from St. John, New Brunswick.
Really? Dude, that's a cool spot, man. Okay. I was in St. John, by the way. Veronica, how about you? Like, how long would you continue to talk about your Czech background?
So being from New York, since there's a lot of diversity, a lot of people who I was friends with, their parents were also immigrants. So whenever like I was talking to people or like I met someone new and like we asked, oh, where are you from? Like we meant like, where are your parents from? Since that was like primarily who was around me. But I know like if I'm introducing myself to someone, I do say I'm from Brooklyn, but my parents are from Europe because I do feel like my culture is more European than it is American. Even though I was raised in in America, I did go to Europe for the summers for months at a time. Like I would spend the time there. You speak Czech? And I speak Czech fluently, yeah.
Yeah. So so that's something that you.
Yeah.
Are you proud of that?
Yes. I am.
Are you? How about you being Haitian, man? How is that for you?
I'd say it's a big part of my identity. Like, if you were to talk to my friends, they would all know I'm Haitian. They know about my culture. Like, I speak Creole a lot to them, even though they don't understand me sometimes, like, just because.
So if people call you black or African American, how often do you say, actually, I'm Haitian?
I don't really say nothing if they say I'm black, but when they say I'm African American, I'll correct them and say I'm not African American, I'm Haitian American.
Because?
That's just like where my parents are from, like the household I was raised in.
And you feel proud of that?
Yeah.
Bro, do you feel proud of the fact that you're Georgian? How, and Canadian, you feel proud? It's different with you guys. Do you feel proud? Like, how often do you emphasize that I'm Polish? Like,
same with what Sophia said. Like, I'll tell them I'm from New Jersey because that's where I like spent my whole life growing up. But if it does get brung up, I'm like, oh, I'm Polish. I'm from Poland. So.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome, man. I mean, this is the thing, right? When you're immigrants and it's part of your culture, it's like it's part of the thing. Okay, listen. Dude, hey, can we have a round of applause? Nice job, man. Thank you. Thank you, man. Okay, hey, thanks, man. Nice job. Dude, thanks for being up here.